Hello, and welcome back to another Demajen Reads Patch Notes videos, which is actually really silly, me saying this, because I'm going to be releasing this before the video, which is episode 22 or something like that, before episode 22 hits you. So this is actually, whilst this is the second time I will be reading some Darksiders 3 patch notes, it's actually the first time you'll see me doing it. In front of you now we have got, and we might as well blow this up. Here we go. We've got some patch notes for the second big Darksiders 2 patch. The first one hit right back at on the 1st of December. Again, I was really kind of stretched in terms of when I recorded these videos. It's the 15th today. Apparently this came out on the 13th December. Don't know, haven't played in a couple of days. In fact, I haven't played all week. Some big important changes to this, and I'm going to jump in the game in a bit and check these out, but I'm just going to take a look at them first. New combat option. Upon loading a save or starting a new game, players will be prompted to choose between default and classic combat. Classic mode should feel more like previous Darksiders titles, allowing Fury to dodge, interrupt her attacks, as well as use items instantly. Because there is a little bit of a delay, a little animation delay, where she crushes things in her fist before the actual item pops. And of course, the dodging mechanic in Darksiders 3, again, you have to be very precise with the timings, and you can't, if you're in the middle of an attack swing, if it's the start, you can dodge out of it most of the time. But if you're halfway through, you can't dodge out of your attacks. That'll be interesting to see exactly how that makes things feel. Default mode is obviously the original combat mode for Darksiders 3. The option can be changed at any point in gameplay options while playing, has no effects on difficulty or achievements, so you can swap between it at will without screwing up your run to take your fancy. Improved ledged grab detection, so Fury can, on Fury, so she can more consistently grab ledges. That was sometimes an issue. Added optimization to help stuttering while streaming. Excellent. Added health lurcher item to Vulgrim that allows players to purchase refills for Nephilim's respite. I've said multiple times that I wish that you could restore your respite at Vulgrim, like you do with Bonfire in the Souls games. But you've not been able to. Now you'll be able to purchase this health lurcher thing to basically refill whenever you get to Vulgrim. Don't know how much it costs yet. Find that out in a bit. Added Echo Mark item to Vulgrim that allows players to refund their spent attribute points. So there's a respec option now. Again, we'll find out how much that costs very shortly. Added a few new checkpoints. A lot of people have complained that the run back to bosses is too long. I imagine that these checkpoints will be to do with that. But since it doesn't tell us where and at what stages these are, it will probably take a new run through of the game. I mean, maybe I can't imagine the checkpoints are new Vulgrim locations. Maybe they are. But either way, I won't be able to find that out without a full explore of the map. We'll find out. Level cap raised to 200. It's 100 currently. Also, rebalanced leveling curve post level 80 as well as stat rewards. So they've changed the leveling curve. Oops, that's me hitting the microphone. Added rebalanced leveling curve post 80 as well as stat rewards. Again, punctuation here. Does that mean that the stat rewards post level 80 have been changed, or is the curve being rebalanced and the stat rewards have been balanced throughout the game? Some fixes. Fix for random crashes, general performance improvements. Give more of those, please. Fix for forced coral. So that's what the purple coral stuff is called. I never even thought of it as coral, but now I do. Where it wouldn't break correctly, that will also fix previous saves. Fix for some checkpoints that weren't registering. Cycling difficulty options while in game will not affect actual difficulty unless it is changed. So if you're hitting left and right on the thing, it won't change the difficulty until you actually OK it. Fix for Abrax's health bar showing up, but he is missing. Didn't know that was a thing. Haven't seen that in my runs or anybody else's runs that I've since watched playing through. Balance changes. These are interesting. Fury will no longer take damage when performing an arcane counter. So on enemies like Agony and the Suffering, when he does his ground slam thing, and he does the 3 in a row, if you arcane counter the first one, you could still get hit by the second and third, and you still take damage from them. That will no longer be the case, which I think is a good change. Havoc Thorn does more damage. That's good, because for the amount of time Havoc Thorn takes to actually charge up, unless you pumped a lot of points into Arcane and were using the is it Obscurus? I can't remember what the enhancement was. I'll put it up on the screen. The enhancement that increases your arcane damage. I know Fortifier increases strength and arcane based damage as well. But yeah, more damage. Speaking of which, increased havoc generation on Obscurus enhancement. Again, that might help allay, so you can actually build a havoc based build. Increased health and damage amounts on Fortifier enhancement. That's the second time in a row I believe they've increased those, so I'll log in and see exactly what they've changed with that. Increased health regen on Leviathan enhancement. That's good, because it was, I think the base one was 15 health per minute for the unbalanced. Added Lurcher reward from destroyable breakables on Leviathan enhancement. So increased Lurcher reward. It was +3, I think, at its base. We'll see what that changes. Increased chance to spawn Wrath while killing an enemy on Raging with the Rage enhancement. Again, that is a good change. So basically, more stuff, more of everything. So let's go and take a look in game now. Okay. So we are back on the public staging branch, and Darksiders 3. Choose combat mode, classic. I will continue because this should put me on my. Not entirely sure which this is going to put me onto actually. It's going to start me here, right here, in fact. Interesting. That's exactly where we left. So, first of all, let's check out the enhancement changes. So, Fortifier. First of all. So that's gone from... Where have my notes gone? So it was +18... No, it was +15 and +18 before. It's now +20 and +20. So a 5% damage boost and a 2% health boost. Leviathan was +75 health per minute and +20. And +15 lurchers. It's now 96 and +20. So 15, 75 to 20, 96. That's a pretty big change. Rage enhancement. It was +25% wrath, now it's +30. And Obscurus, it is now +80%. Rather than +25%. So that's a massive, massive increase there. Okay, so those are the... Interesting. Those are the enhancement changes. Next thing we want to go and take a look at is Vulgrim.
What would you ask of this humble merchant?
Right, first of all...
Take your time.
It hasn't retroactively given us any new locks. I'm assuming that's going to be for the DLC. Yeah, hasn't given us any new things there. So... Echo Mark. So, under crystals, we have Echo Mark. So, just for 1,000 souls, and I imagine...
As you wish.
Let's test this. I don't have a huge amount of things available.
Do make. What would you ask of this humble nut? Take your time.
For the sake of Echo Mark, the Echo Mark can be shattered in your inventory to refund all of her attribute points.
A wise decision. As you wish.
Can you only use it once? I wonder.
For now. Great. Take your time.
So that is still 1,000 crystals, 1,000 souls each time. Okay. Huh.
As you wish.
I thought there was supposed to be. Oh, that's going to take forever. Right, I need to go and find some enemies to take some damage. Because I can't use a respite if... Oop. Can't hit me. Oh yeah, so that just instantly pops our heal. That's good. You know, if you like that kind of combat, I didn't much mind it anyway.
What would you ask? Take your time.
Ah, okay. So, health lurchers can be purchased under the specials thing, assuming you are missing a respite. Purchasing this unleashes a health lurcher that refills a single charge. Souls like these don't interest me much. They're worthless in most circles and taste rancid to boot. But one demon's trash is another horseman's treasure, as they say. I'm nothing if not a giver, and I'd happily part with them. A price. Fulgrim.
An excellent joy, as you wish.
And that just instantly gives us our... Okay. Next question then is... Ow! No! Muppet. Oh god. Oh dear. Oh, is that gonna... It's probably gonna hit me down every time, isn't it? Oh jeez! But yeah, it is a quick fire. Why is my armor slightly more purple than before? Was that just my imagination? Right, the next thing I want to check is, do the lurchers increase?
What would you ask? Take your time. An excellent choice.
No. So they're 250 souls every time.
As you wish.
So that is good to know. Right, what else do we want to go and test then? We've seen the Echo Mark, we've seen the Health Lurchers. Nothing else that I can test here, but we can go and test the frame rate and optimizations in the Bonelands, which is of course where we were having the most problems. And still are having quite a few by the look of it. So CPU usage in this area is still very high. Obviously I've bumped everything up back to maximum. So if I put the shadow quality down to medium, which makes so little difference. I mean, you can actually see some just towards the top there between medium and high. That's still using 7.6% CPU. Right, so I haven't played in a while, so this is going to be... Ah, yes, I was invincible there for the backswing. But the frame rate definitely seems to be slightly... not 100% better. But it's now steadier on high shadows, which is a nice change. So optimization has continued to be better. And yeah, you saw there, I should have been hit by the second swing of his gut flail, I'm going to call it, but didn't get hit. But really, the big change is the 1-2 items, which was never really a massive issue for me anyway. And to be honest, you know, I've completed the game on Apocalyptic now. As well as twice on story mode and once on challenging for various footage things. So I'm not really going to be struggling. But I imagine for people that are just starting their very first playthrough, the option of having these combat changes is ever so slightly better. But I didn't really notice a huge delay in the use of shards anyway. Woof, woof, woof. Come on. Not entirely sure how that missed me, actually. I think for people that didn't like the fact that the respite wasn't instant use, that will be a good change. For me, I didn't mind particularly the slightly longer attack problem. No, I'll try that again. I'm concentrating on doing things at the same time as talking. I didn't mind. There we go. I didn't mind the slight delay in using the Nephilim's respites. I mean, realistically, this should make the game even easier. And I do worry, really, that Apocalyptic... Apparently, you can target the flump. That wasn't an arcane counter. But yeah, there's nothing really particularly challenging left in this game because I've killed all the bosses and stuff in it. I suppose I could go and fight the final boss, but that's a bit of a spoiler. Oops. That's a bit of a spoiler for anybody that hasn't got that far in the game yet, and I am trying to avoid spoilers. Yeah, so you can just pop it instantly like that. Can you double pop? Don't know. Oop. No, it still takes a little while before you can pop it again. So there's not so much a cooldown as a maybe 2-second delay to stop you kind of double popping your consumables. And there's still a timer on the on the shards and stuff. So whilst they pop instantly, you can no longer the cooldown is still there. Yeah, see, you can see me going for the swing. And you dodge out of it. Can you dodge out of? Yeah, you can dodge right from the start, or yeah, all the way through the animation. You can dodge. And that massively increases her manoeuvrability, and should, for a lot of people, I think, really kind of help them out with the difficulty. And it's a single-player game, so does it really matter if people, struggle with it? My only real concern, and it's not much of a concern because I've already 100%ed the game, is that it means
what would you ask of this humble merchant?
That just overall the game is easier, and I don't feel like it needed to be any easier. I felt like it was realistically easy enough. Either way, decent changes. I don't know whether it makes the game better or worse, but I do wonder if they've maybe, with these changes, possibly made apocalyptic. The smoke effect on Vulgrim seems to I think that actually might be one of the things that's making the frame rate drop in places, that the misty fog effect. If I put effects, just trying to peer over my microphone here to where I've got the second monitor. That seems to have improved things. Let's just let him disappear. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, that didn't seem to be an issue. So, let's recap. Classic mode certainly seems to have changed up the ease of getting out of the way of enemies with that split-second timer that you needed. After the patch 1, I don't really think they needed it, but since it's a completely different game mode, albeit with not a huge number of changes, it's fine for some. You know, people that said, oh, Darksiders 3 doesn't feel like the first two games in terms of its combat, this should help for that. Instant healing with the respite and so on and so forth is good for tight situations. I didn't have really any issues with ledge grabbing anyway, so that's probably not going to be massively noticeable for a lot of people, but maybe it is. Optimizations, good stuff. Health lurchers available for 250 souls from Vulgrim. You can buy as many as you need to as long as you've got souls. Obviously, they don't increase in price. That's a good change, because 250 souls is basically nothing. The respec option is great, though I would like, I don't know how they do this, maybe on one of the different buttons that you could put like 10 points at a time in, because if you respec and you're kind of above level 50 or so, you've got a load of points to spend. So that might be an extra change that they might want to consider making. Few new checkpoints. I don't know where those are going to be. It doesn't say a few extra Vulgrim plinths, so they're going to be checkpoints. I imagine they're probably going to be before bosses, because there were a lot of people moaning about the run back. It's like, oh, I've got to run half the level in order to get back to that boss that just whooped my ass, just to try them again. And I can see that point of view from a player that didn't want a Dark Souls style game where you have to get better at the game, and in running back you would naturally get better and better because you had to, because you'd have to try harder. Good change. Good change. I am planning on doing another apocalyptic playthrough, and I think I'll do it in classic mode to see how much of a difference the power creep has made. Fix for random crashes. I only had like 4, I think, crashes total in my playthrough. Performance improvements are, again, noticeable. They're not massive, but every little helps. The force coal thing was never an issue for me. Checkpoints that weren't registering, I don't know what those were anyway. Difficulty options was never a problem for me. The Abraxas health thing wasn't an issue, but again, if you suffered from it, hopefully that fix will be good for you. No longer taking damage from whilst arcane counters were in effect. I like that change. It was very, very rare anyway that you get hit, but it did feel a little bit awkward, especially in the forward knock up arcane counter that you got with the Barbs of Scorn, because that was quite long animation wise, and it did feel a little bit annoying when you got hit during that. So that's a good fix. Does it change does it break the game, change the game? It makes the game easier, and again, a worry. One of the things I liked about Darksiders 3 was its challenge on challenging and apocalyptic. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, whether that has made it a little bit too easy. Havoc form doing more damage. Havoc form buffs, good. Havoc generation increase on Obscurus enhancement. I really do think that will be a nice change. You can actually, you could develop a Havoc form build now with the Havoc enhancements for there. Health and damage amounts on fortify enhancements. I don't really think those were needed, to be honest. The power creep on that. I mean, we've already got 2 enhancements, one of which does arcane damage plus, and one of which does physical damage plus Juggernaut and whatever the other one was. Did we really need on the Fortifier as well? I don't know about that. Health regen on Leviathan enhancement though, I think that was a good move. Lurcher reward from breakables on Leviathan. It makes Leviathan worth using, because I don't think it was worth using in most situations. What was the final one? Yeah, Lurcher reward from destroying breakables, chance to spawn wrath when killing an enemy on the rage enhancement. All of those good changes. I'm not sure on the fortifier one. I think the damage bonus maybe wasn't necessary, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure the health plus. I think maybe after the previous buff you could possibly just leave fortifier alone. But there we go, that is patch 2. This is not live, this is only available on the staging branch. You have to go through in your Steam library, right click your game in the list, click on properties and settings at the bottom, go all the way along to the right hand side. You have to opt in to on the beta tab to the staging branch. There's no password needed. It was a 1.5 gigabyte update if you're using the current game client. So again, think about that if you're on like a metered connection or something. All in all, for the most part, some really good changes. Optimizations, quality of life enhancements at Vulgrim for respec and health lurchers. And the classic combat seems decent if you like that kind of thing. I'm going to give the game a playthrough and see how I get on with that. So there we go. That is patch 2 available on the staging branch right now. No indication when it's going to go live. I imagine they'll be wanting some feedback from that. We'll see whether this is what it goes live with. Hope that has been educational for you. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. Remember to ring the bell to be notified when new videos go live. And until next time, toodle pip.